Hey guys, how's it going? T-Bird here, coming at you with a brand new video. Today's topic is going to be covering how to win a duo versus squads game. This is something that I actually haven't really done at all, 'cause I never really thought about doing it until one of my friends that I'm playing with in this game was saying we should try it, and I agreed and we did it, and here's a really good footage, really good gameplay that we had actually yesterday, so I wanted to get it for you guys. And before I really dive in, I just want to let you guys know, I've been doing Fortnite every day, and I plan on continuing to do that. So if you guys stumble across this video, definitely make sure to like and definitely make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the videos that I put out every day. And yeah, so getting to the video. To win duo versus squads, I had a video recently about winning solo versus duos, and it's very similar because it's the same ratio, but it requires its own set of tips because it really requires teamwork. So the first tip I have is stick together. Um, as simple as that may sound, a lot of teams don't do that. Um, a lot of teams kind of just do their own thing, especially when you go to tilted. I know it's hard to land together sometimes to get that good drop, but you guys want to meet up as soon as possible, because if you don't do that and you're going to get outnumbered, you're going to get outnumbered regardless because it's duo versus squads, but you're going to get outnumbered bad. And if you're versing any decent kids, you're probably going to get knocked and you're probably going to get executed, and that kind of ruins the rest of the game because then it turns into a solo versus squads. And I know there are some of you that are watching that are capable of doing solo versus squads, but it's certainly not easy, and your odds of winning the game and having a good game go down dramatically, no matter how good of a player you are. 1 versus 4 is a lot harder than 2 versus 4 or 2 versus 3, whatever it may be. So sticking together is really going to eliminate those early executions. It's going to eliminate being outnumbered and getting knocked in the first place. And like you see in this footage, if you do get knocked, you have the other guy there that's going to, kill the guy that's really distracted on trying to get the execution, since, everybody wants to get those executions nowadays right away. So you definitely want to be there for that. Another one is positioning is key. Now, this has to do with sticking together. That's why I put this tip right after it. Is when I say stick together, it doesn't mean you guys have to stay in the same 1-by-1 or be in the same room together. Sticking together, when I say that, I mean probably being a good 5 seconds away from each other. That way, if you see that your teammate is in trouble, you can run there really fast before they even get knocked. Or if they happen to get knocked without even, seeing it coming, you'll be there to try to avoid that execution. So positioning, when I say positioning, is you want to approach the fights from different angles. It really makes it harder on your opponents, because instead of just being able to bum rush one forward and just simply use their outnumbering to win, they have to have at least a few players focused on one player and then the other set of players focusing on the other. So it makes it really difficult, and being on the other side of that, versing players that approach me at different angles is so much harder than versing kids that are all on like one forward or all pushing me from the same direction. So you wanna, if you're gonna see in this video, a lot of the fights we get into are both on different angles, and that's something that's just kind of natural for us to do. But for some players, it's not so natural. I see that a lot when I go up against some players, and it's a good sign. When you're a good player, you recognize when players aren't that great because they're gonna stick together. So try avoid doing that, because it's gonna make it really easy for a good player to take you out. So definitely try to get different angles, but like I said, stay close to one another in the sense of you can be there if they need it, and it's really gonna make it a huge difference in your gameplay. Another one is, when in battle, keep track of what your teammate's doing. And I know it's hard to do because sometimes you get so in the zone because you're in a battle, maybe against one player, maybe two, maybe even three. But it's really important to keep track of your partner's health meter, what he's saying to you. You want to communicate, of course. That's not even something I feel I need to say. Communication's huge, but you really want to keep track of your teammates' status, because a lot of times I'll play with my friends and whatnot, and they won't really say anything, but I'll just see their health dropping, and they won't say anything because they're in that moment too. They're in that heat of the battle. They're trying to survive, and sometimes multitasking and speaking isn't happening, isn't working. So if you can keep track of that, definitely go to him and try to ease that pressure off of him, because just avoiding a knock, even if they have 3 HP, is such a huge thing, because then they can heal. You're saving a good amount of time that it would take to revive, and that's usually when I find that I get ran up on the most, when I'm trying to revive somebody, even after I wipe out a squad, or right after they get revived and they have to heal. That's when the team always comes. So watch what your teammate's doing, watch how he's doing with his health and stuff, and then go from there. You obviously want to use your best judgment. Sometimes we can't leave our individual fight to help out our teammate, but if there is any chance that you can slip away for a second and try to help him out, it's going to make a huge difference and make a huge impact on the end result of the fight and even the game, because both of you going to be standing up like I talked about earlier. You're going to have time to heal and just prepare for the next battle. Another tip I have for you guys is, a lot of times in any mode in Fortnite, whether it be solos, duos, or squads, you're going to find two enemies fighting each other. And you often can watch for a second and evaluate the situation. And that's exactly what you need to do in a duo versus squads, because you're going to have that view for a second without any opponents really seeing you, and you're going to see what's going on. You're going to see how they're fighting, and that's your chance to really find who the better team is of the two, whether you just can tell by their skill, or you can just tell by how much health they seem to have and who's really in control. And that's the team you're going to want to try to knock out. You're going to want to try to team up with the other team, knock them out, get them out of the question, so when they're knocked, you're now versing the weak team. Not many people do that. Some people just go in there spraying both teams, not really having a target in mind. But you're definitely going to want to pinpoint who's the real threat. And then that way, you're taking them out of the way, you're having help from another 4 players. And when you're in duo versus squads, that's everything, because in that fight when you're teaming up, you might get a little damage. So to take the damage, a little damage, but then versus the weaker team, the less skilled team, it's going to make a crazy impact on your game. And that's just something you need to do, and it's a skill you kind of get by being able to judge what team is better and what team's not. Even a big thing that I like to do is what team has the better guns. You can kind of tell that, like, if one team's using a grenade launcher, I want to get them out of the way right away, because grenade launchers are extremely overpowered. Or if there's a team that you see has a scar, there's so many different things you can look for in determining who you want to wipe out first. But that's a huge thing. Team up kind of with another team. They're not even going to know what's happening, because they're so into the fight. They're not going to see that you're shooting from a distance. They're really not, unless you're hitting them. So another huge tip I have, and it's a very simple one, and I usually have one extremely simple tip with all my videos, but it's something that's super important, and I believe if you think about it and hear what I have to say, you're gonna improve on it. And it is stay alive. By all means, stay alive, because if you're getting knocked or if you get executed, the whole game is so different. And sometimes just being able to hide for a few moments and staying alive keeps that pressure off your teammate, and it keeps your chances of winning the game alive. A lot of the times, whether it's myself or my teammate, if you kind of have that thought in your mind, like, oh, I'm dead, and you can kind of continue play maybe foolishly. So staying alive is your key to winning. Whether that means don't engage in every fight, whether that means turtle up sometimes, whether that means just watch a fight and then strike then. There's so many different things that you can do to stay alive. Sometimes when you're in a battle, I like to just get lost in the battle. I like to just take a second, pop some shields if I have any, pop any meds I have if I have any, reload my weapons, and kind of just take a second, because the pressure goes from normal pressure to a million real fast if your teammate's down or dead. And so staying alive is really going to be an important tip that I can give you guys, because sometimes people accept their fate before it's even happened. And trust me, I've survived some crazy situations by just hiding for a second or just really turtling up for a second. As you see right now, I'm getting shot down with a rocket launcher while he has the high ground, but I'm just trying to survive for as long as I can. And then he makes the crucial mistake of leaving his high ground, and it ends up giving me the dub. So I hope you guys enjoy these tips. I hope you guys try some duo squads. Let me know how it goes for you guys. That's all for me this time. I'm out.